All right, how's it going? So let's take a look at this example for order of operations. I just got this one problem in this video. I have another video that's got a bunch of examples. I just wanted to do this one by itself because it looks kind of complicated. Let's see what we can do. All right, so we've got a fraction here, right? So whenever you have a fraction and you're doing order of operations, you work with the numerator and denominator separately. Just work with it like they're two different problems. All right, so let's get started. Let's look at just the numerator. All right, so you can see here we've got grouping symbols. We've got grouping symbols here, and we've got grouping symbols here. So first, let's work inside these. Okay, and just forget everything else but what's inside the parentheses here. All right, so this is going to give us -4 times. Now, inside the grouping symbols, I actually have a fraction. All right, so now let's just take that fraction and work with the numerator and denominator separately. All right, so all I'm doing right now is working inside the grouping symbols here. Everything else, I'm just forgetting about it. It's just tagging along for right now. All right, so I've got 12 minus -8, which would be what? 12 plus 8. The minus and minus make a positive. So 12 plus 8, that would give me 20 over. Now, looking in this denominator, 3 times 2 plus 4, well, I've got to do the multiplication before I do the addition. So 3 times 2, well, that's 6, and then plus the 4, and then I'll just write everything else down. It's just tagging along right now. -9 minus, oh, I'm sorry. That's the numerator. Now, let's go ahead and work inside work on the denominator, okay? Because remember, we're doing the numerator and denominator like it's two different problems. So when I look in the denominator, well, I've got grouping symbols here. So I need to work inside those grouping symbols first. So that's going to be -9 minus -7 minus. All right. Now I've got -9 minus -8. I'm sorry, -5 minus -8. Well, that's -5, and the minus and minus make a plus. So that's -5 plus 8, which is 3. All right. Now let's do the next step. All right, so let's look at just the numerator. So that's going to be -4 times. All right, so nothing I can do in the numerator right here. So that's just 20 over. And then the denominator, I can multiply the 6 and the 4. That's 10. Minus, and that's going to be 5 times -1 minus 7 over. Now, what about this? Well, look at this. All I have now is what? Subtraction, okay? The adding and subtracting. So I've got -9 minus -7. Well, -9 plus 7, right? That's -2 minus the 3. All right. All right, so now what do we have? Well, this right here is just division. You see that? And we are inside the parentheses, right? So I've got to do this before I multiply the 4 times the 20 and then divide by 10. Okay? So I need to do this first. So that's going to be -4 times, and then 20 divided by 10 is 2. Minus 5 times -1 minus 7 over, and then -2 minus 3 is -5. All right, now I've got grouping symbols. I've got to work inside here. And just to let you know, I could have worked inside these grouping symbols and this grouping symbol. I could have worked inside those at the same time. But just take it one step at a time. You're less likely to make a mistake. All right, so that's -4 times 2 minus 5 times. Now I'm working inside the parentheses here. So I've got negative 1 minus 7. Well, that's going to give me what? Negative 8 over the negative 5. All right, so I've taken care of all my grouping symbols. Now I got what? Exponents have no exponents. Multiplication and division. Yes, I've got multiplication here. See, I'm done with the denominator. All I'm worried about now is the numerator. And hopefully you've noticed how I've worked with the numerator and denominator separately. Okay, like they're two different problems. All right, so let's do this multiplication. So that's negative 8 minus 5 times negative 8 over negative 5. And then I've got to do this multiplication. So that's going to be negative 8. And then I've got negative 5 times negative 8 is 40 over negative 5. And then I've got negative 8 plus 40 is 32 over negative 5. And if you want, you can take the minus sign and pull it out in front of the fraction. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. You can put the negative sign in the numerator, denominator, or out in front of the fraction. All right. So hopefully this helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.